The Food and Drug Administration, we're moving on, is launching its first TV ads to fight vaping by teenagers. The FDA's nearly $60 million initiative is called The Real Cost. So this includes new commercials featuring street magician Julius Dein, who uses tricks to educate teens on the risk of e-cigarettes.
If I just push. You got a vape with you? Can I borrow your vape? I'm going to put it in your hand like this. Ready for this? Watch the vape. Here we go. You just went from vaping to trying cigarettes. Boom.
Oh!
Boom. Did you know that if you vape, you're more likely to start smoking cigarettes?
I don't want to hear that, but I hear it.
Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it, but he hears it. The Centers for Disease Control says more than 1 in 5 high school students and nearly 1 in 20 middle schoolers vape. For high school students, that's about a 78% increase. Wow, between 2017 and 2018.
Tomorrow and Thursday, a House Oversight Subcommittee will look into the role of the e-cigarette maker Juul in this teen nicotine epidemic. Anti-vaping advocates and representatives of Juul are expected to give testimony. In a statement to CBS News, a Juul spokesperson said, quote, "We share the subcommittee's concerns about youth vaping and welcome the opportunity to appear and share information about our commitment to eliminate combustible cigarettes and our aggressive industry-leading actions to combat youth usage." CTM consumer investigative correspondent Anna Werner has been looking into the impact of teen vaping. And our Dr. Tara Narula is a cardiologist. Good morning to you both, the perfect people to have on this subject. Tara, let's remind people at the outset, what are the known risks of e-cigarettes for teenagers?
Well, the beauty of these ads, as you saw, is that they're telling kids that this is not something that's cost-free or low risk. There can be devastating consequences. And 80% of kids don't recognize that there can be harm. So first and foremost, the e-cigarettes can be a gateway to traditional cigarette use. We know that kids who use e-cigarettes 4 times more likely to go on to smoke traditional cigarettes. Then let's talk about the nicotine. The nicotine, one of the most addictive substances known to man, has effects on the adolescent brain, which develops until the mid-20s. It can affect memory and learning. It can impact impulse control. It can increase the risk for mood disorders, and it can prime the brain for addiction to other substances. Nicotine can have cardiovascular effects, raising blood pressure and heart rate. The ultrafine particles in the flavorings can damage the lungs. There have been carcinogens, toxins, heavy metals found in these e-cigarettes, and then we've heard about the explosions that can happen, the accidental ingestion. So
now, they've always said all along that it was never targeted for kids, but you see flavors like strawberry lemonade, strawberry milk, mango. Juul didn't have flavors like bubble gum and cotton candy, but other people did. So it seemed like it was very deliberate for teenagers. So what would this FDA push do now?
Well, that's the question. So if you talk to advocates and parents groups who have set up to oppose e-cigarettes, and particularly Juul, they will tell you that the FDA has talked a good game, but not done enough in terms of regulation. In fact, this month, the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, which is a prime group going after cigarette problems in general, had sued, and a judge had ruled that the FDA had to move up its timelines for regulations of these products. You know, the products are already on the market. They kind of got an exception. Yes, you can be on the market, but we're going to take a look at you. You're going to have to submit applications sort of after the fact, in a sense. And advocates and activists are saying, look, they're not moving fast enough. It's nice for them to put out a couple TV ads. They don't really think it's going to make any difference. Kids are already doing their own social media, do it for Juul, and, you know, like all kinds of Juuling experiments. And Juul, as we know, is the gorilla in the market.
So you don't think this latest push will really make a difference?
Well, you have to listen to the parents who are dealing with the kids and the activists who are looking at teen addiction. And what they'll tell you is, look, teens already know about it. It's already out there. And they believe, many of these kids that we spoke to in interviews believe, well, it's okay because it's less harmful than cigarettes.
Yeah.
You know, they have this impression, which is something that for adults, it might be better than smoking an actual cigarette. But the teens have also kind of gotten that message, and they think this is fun, it's cool.
I was looking at the CDC numbers just before coming on, and we mentioned the 78% increase in teens using e-cigarettes 2017 to 2018. Very interesting that there was not an increase in teen traditional cigarette use in that time. So while the risk of going over to the really bad, evil thing is possible, it doesn't seem like it's happening yet. I'm interested, from the anti-tobacco warriors from recent decades, those groups are still around. Are they heartened at least by that number?
I don't think any of them who are trying to work on this problem are particularly heartened by anything at this point. I think what you'll hear them say is there's an epidemic of teens using these products. As you pointed out, Tara, there are all these either real or potential health consequences, and addiction, the effect of nicotine on the young developing brain is key to what they're looking at. And they're basically saying, you know, on this one, the horse got out of the barn.
Yeah.
So Tara, what can a parent do if they realize their kid is vaping, and how do you know if they are?
Great question. I mean, parents need to be educated about this. They need to have their eyes wide open and be vigilant, because these devices can be easily concealed. They can look like flash drives. Some parents have said, look, I found this in my kid's backpack for months and I thought it was a part of a toy. They don't produce a lot of odor. They don't have a lot of smoke. So parents need to start talking to their kids in elementary school about the potential health risks of e-cigarettes. They need to be asking them as they get older, are you using? Do you know kids who are using? Why are you using? And if their kid is becoming addicted, they need to help them get help and not punish them, because this is a real addiction. And also counsel them on how to avoid peer pressure situations. Some of the signs parents can look for: stomach aches, headaches, changes in behavior, lack of concentration, irritability. Might prompt you to ask your kid, is something going on?
Really, really good advice, really great reporting. Thank you both very much.